And then, you know, I get a whole bunch of like mislabeling, man. You know, like I put the situation in perspective time and time again, though, you feel me? But I mean, it's when you look at the whole of the situation, you'll see how ridiculous it is. To be honest, even if I was upset about what's happened to my life and legacy, then, you know, that'd be perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not a petty kind of person like that. But seeing as the position that these slanders on my body of work had put me into, you know, because I was being lied on for biting and all this kind of stuff, when in reality, my substance is more, you know, it's wholesome. And then they put me in a position of having to, you know, by like juxtaposing me against others and stuff, you know, they put you in a position of having to defend your legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because of the lies and stuff they put in the order, they make money off your, you know, at your expense. And so they slander my legacy and everything, lying on it, while on the low, they actually assimilating my stuff into theirs at the same time, simultaneous. You know what I'm saying? There's no greater form of disrespect, man, than to discredit somebody's contribution and, you know, things like that. So, I mean, and so it put me in a position, I mean, when people see clearly, man, that's not the situation. I got my own substance, aesthetic. I got endless range, man. I got ideas from heaven. I don't have to do that, you know, I don't have to remake things or reform things that already exist. I'm a creator, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm from the creator, you know, which is God. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's crazy, man. And to be honest, man, as I already talked on, the whole situation was premeditated, really. You know, they just took advantage of the situation. You feel me? They ate my life. They made sure that any fragments even the fragments that was left, the fragments of the fragments, they made sure that it wouldn't be no way possible I could, you know, ever, you know, embrace the purposes of God or God's original plan, or be, you know, any way possible by, you know, intentionally inflicting me over these long period of time to, you know, distress me. You feel me? To distress me, you know, with all this high-tech maneuverability and tactics and strategies and stuff, man, to ensure that my mental state couldn't be, you know what I'm saying, tranquil enough to be able, you know what I'm saying, to be able to focus and do things, you know, because I mean, I'm damaged from it. You know, this was heavy stuff that was happening to me, you know what I'm saying, from, you know, 14, 15, 16, 17, you know, 2018, you know, 19. I mean, these were things that were just happening for a long time. And to be honest, you know, they had already started implementing like gangster stuff against a baby. You know what I'm saying? A baby. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nothing. I mean, somebody graft you into their reality to be able to attack you and eat you. Like how you be devoured as a baby. You know what I'm saying? That, I mean, things shouldn't apply to you, you know? I wouldn't think, you know what I mean? And that's the situation. Like, it was never a fair situation. That's, you know, to think that, you know, such a thing is possible, it's just crazy, man. But it was a long situation, long-running situation, long-standing, and the whole thing was unfair. And so, I mean, even if I was upset about it, then, you know, I would have a real reason to be upset about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's a whole lot of things about human, you know, malleability. Also, just the makeup of a person's, every aspect of a person's, you know, makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like how God made people, they specialize in that kind of thing. Everything about a person on intellectual levels. And so with that kind of knowledge, it ain't hard to understand how they, you know, when you young and then they implement this stuff on your life, you know, they try to like get you going in a certain direction by imposing certain things on you more than others and things, you know, just psychological warfare. You know, they was doing that on a baby. You feel me? They was doing that on a baby. And that in itself is already really, you know, so far past words that, you know, it's hard. I mean, ain't really much you can say, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, nah, I ain't no, you know what I'm saying, grateful hearted, nasty, evil person. Like, I never been that kind of person. You know, I mean, look at this situation I put in, you know, the position I put in to have to defend my stuff and then show the truth. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you know, I don't, you know what I'm saying, I ain't the kind of person that box with, you know what I'm saying, shadows and ghosts, you know, and ghouls and, you know, and concepts and things. I mean, concepts, yeah, you know, I mean, I love, you know, fighting concepts. You know, that's what I be doing. You know, strategies and things. You know, that's how I brush up, or, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, the things that were placed against me though, like for real. I mean, not things that was like playing and joking and gaming. Now they was serious about this perspective on my legacy and life. And so it put me in a position of having to clarify that, and it hurts the worst. It don't hurt because of the things that were said and did to me. It don't even, it hurts, but it don't hurt as bad, you know what I'm saying? Like even knowing that this stuff was happening before, while I was a minor, you know what I'm saying? These things were happening while I was a heavy stuff. I mean, of course, that'll hurt anybody, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't that bothered me. What bothers me the most is, God, you know what I'm saying? God had God's purpose of goodness always, it's like get sabotaged every generation, man. Like no matter how God decide to come, he might try something different every, so and so year, like, every century, you know what I'm saying? God always do something, some kind of way. And every time humanity always do the same thing to his creations, to his will, his power, his work. And it just hurts because God is all good. God is only good, man. And he always want to help people, bless people, restore. He tried that, But when his best is always destroyed, defiled, eaten, and rejected, then, what can he, what else? He just got to create a new earth. And so, But, that's the situation, though, man. It's been like that for as long as I've been in the world, man. And then I always thought that that's just how life was. And, then when I got, like these years, I realized, that no, that's not how life was. Like misery, it's like, it wasn't just happenstance. You feel me? It was an intentional thing. Like somebody was actually doing that. Like I thought that I just was like one of the most cursed people in the world. I'm thinking like maybe I just got bad luck. Or maybe it's just life. You just struggle. This was like being did by somebody. Like, then when you realize that, it makes you, of course, that's go, you know what I'm saying? That's go set your spirit. That's go turn your fire up. You like, whoa, man, somebody was doing this to me before I could even discern or be able to defend myself or those around me or anything, So I'm like, war was declared on me when I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, dang. Just imagine that, Just imagine that, like, then, you able to discern a little better, and you find out, that's the gravity of the situation. You realize that it was a fight that you really couldn't have won. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in that way, because, and then following the light is certain ways you can fight. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't fight according to the world. I can't fight according to the world, So God had positions. He brought attention of some on me, you know what I'm saying, at early times with the intent, with the desire that they would, have mercy, you know what I'm saying, and see, that I needed protection and defenses that I did not have. You know what I'm saying, at that age. And then it was going to pay off in the long run because they would have had the jackpot because they just didn't know, you know what I'm saying, what God was planning, a surprise, through one of his vessels. And it was going to be the absolute restorer. But it didn't, you see what happened, And then the last 7 years, I was already in fragments, you know what I'm saying, from what was already happening from youth all the way up. I just wasn't aware of it, but the purpose, the things that God was wanted, it was already in fragments, to be honest. And so the last 7 years, they lied on my work. They took advantage when they saw me putting the plow to the field. You feel me? And they seen when I started self-publishing, then that's when they moved. You know what I'm saying? They was already watching before that point, doing stuff before that point to my life. And then when they seen that, that's all it took, And so for them last 7 years, including this year, it was that, they the slander on my legacy and everything was no coincidence. It was an intentional, premeditated thing. They took advantage of a situation. They had already constructed in their mind who they was going to use, to be a quote unquote ceiling over, my influence and impact for God because they hate God. You know what I'm saying? They knew what it was. They didn't know exactly how God was going to do it, but they knew it was something great though. You feel me? They knew it was something great, but they couldn't anticipate how God was. So, in spite of, and then they went above and beyond, man, doing everything possible to try to recreate that and anticipate what it was going to be, in numerous ways. And, they put a lot into it. They're able to control who, rise up and all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, God, for people to see the fragments now, it means more to me than, almost right now, for the damage that I've already suffered, the irreversible, trauma and all this stuff that I live with, for people to see the fragments now of God's purpose and what it was and how great it was and was going to be. But I mean, they can't see the whole situation because it's just like dinosaur bones. You feel me? Like, you see the fragments, but it's impossible to see, like, the fullness of it because it's so, it's so deteriorated. And that's the kind of situation. Like, they can see the fragments, pieces of the concepts and aesthetics that God had originally meant to restore the country, and then it was going to steal them out to the world. You see how some places, and there's some cultural appropriation that was also a part of it, but the devil got in there and twisted it up. So it's not like it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It still happened around this time period. It was supposed to happen at this time period. So it still happened, but it did not happen, the way God was gonna do it. You feel me? They did it, they try to anticipate and recreate, and they did this, and they went all out the way, and secret societies and stuff, they did that and raised up all these, what I'm saying? So it was concepts close. It was not things close. It was close to what God had, what I'm saying? But it was not the same though, it was not the same. It was the devil's twist on everything, the devil put a twist on stuff, and but at the same time, it's still a win because people see the fragments, and also just from the fragments alone, some people found the light of God, and then some people even saved their souls. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main goal. That's what the goal was anyway, just to save. So it was gonna happen on a wider, more broader, larger than life extent. You know what I'm saying? If things would have went, because God was gonna have the globe lit, man. I'm telling y'all, man. Because I mean, God was gonna have the globe lit, man. Like things never experienced like ever before in the history of humanity was gonna happen at this time. Like I'm telling you, like from when God was gonna pretty much manifest himself so much, man, that people would have automatically just knew and converted. Like it would have been awesome. And then it was gonna keep the country holy. You know what I'm saying? It was gonna make it spread out, and make the world holy. You know what I'm saying? But it's too much evil. The devil in the world. See, the devil in the way. And that right there is why why God hates Satan. Because you see from the beginning, when sin entered the garden, God had perfect plan for humanity. It had nothing to do with evil, had nothing to do with working, toil. Everything was handed to humans. Even supernaturally, it was all peace and everything was good. And then that cycle repeat all throughout history. You know what I'm saying? Every time, like every century, all the time, every generation, the same thing repeat. And you just seen another piece of that long line of persecution, which shows you specifically an example of why God hates, what I'm saying, the devil. I mean, which is, and then extensions of the devil, like branches from him is the Antichrist and, evil spirits and, just kingdom of darkness. It's known by many names, but it's all him at the epicenter of it. And that's the situation, so I mean, but just the fact that people see the fragments, then they see that I'm telling the truth, and that, the devil is no longer able to cover up reality. You know what I'm saying? And even though the fragments of the fragments is fragments, like it's already beaten down so bad. And then, even the vessel, which is myself, I'm so damaged from, the things happen that all I really know is being attacked. You know what I'm saying? So that's mostly what my substance had become, because I was forced, to recognize the reality in which, was pressed hard against my life. So that dictated, the substance of what I talked about, which, not exactly a bad thing, because people still see the fragments, but they see that I got innovation. you know, and they see that I got range, and my aesthetic, my dynamics is still in the earth in multiple ways, even supernaturally, even spiritually, you know, and that's God's power. You know, it's in this, you know, it's dynamics and things all throughout, you know, and it was all love. You feel me? It was all a love thing. You know, it wasn't nothing evil or cunning or sneaky or nothing like that. It was all a love thing. But you know what I mean? So but people that realize it though, you know what I'm saying? Kudos to you, man. I just, you know, I don't really know. I'm just speechless, man, you know, because there ain't really much I could really say, you know what I mean? Because what can you really say, man? It's just like one of those situations where you just, I mean, I don't really know what to compare it to. It's a situation and in its entirety, from everything I had, from everything that's been happening in society for over 20 years already. And then the last 7 years, definitely. And then just, you know, the last 3 years, you know, I mean, and then for people to see and put the pieces together on their own, then it's like one of those situations, man. I can't do nothing but just walk away, you know. I mean, conceptually, you feel me? I mean, I ain't walking away from what I love to do, my art. Because, I mean, even though it's not the way it was originally gonna be, it's still my stuff, you feel me? And I still value it, you know. So I still want that's what I desire, you know, protection for, you know, the same rights that people want their own children to have. Just because I'm God's child doesn't mean that, you know, I shouldn't have the right to exist, you know, as a brand, artist, person, entity, or anything, you know. I should still be able to exist, you know. That's how I feel, man. And so I still, you know, I just wanted indemnity and just protection to be able to exist and express myself, you know. Because, I mean, I'm not going to be talking about being attacked when I'm not being attacked. That's why I got to be honest, you know, like 2020, it's like so far, you know what I mean, I haven't been getting like what I've been used to, you know, to be honest. Like something changed like this year. I mean, I ain't speaking too soon though, because what I know from experience is when you say that, then that's when it get going again. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, honestly, I haven't had too much the evil activity that been happening all this time, since all the way from 14. It's been like a steady year by year, 365, 24/7 attack on every facet of my life. Man, it's not like it was. You feel me? It's not like it was. Not saying it ain't there. It might be there, you know. But I mean, my eyes on the spirit. I'm focused on God. You know what I'm saying? In other words. So even if it's there, man, I'm just looking at the scripture and God's, you know, what God say. That's how I'm trying to live my life, you know, until God ready for me. And that's just the thing. Like, I mean, but people see the fragments, and I couldn't be happier, you know.